Hi, Ed Akehurst here. We're going to talk about segments and groups. I'm going to specifically use an example for broadcasting in Genius Messenger CRM. However, keep in mind, we use segments and groups in many of our extensions. Just to name a few, it's used in Genius Connector, Genius Birthday Posts, Genius Posts, LinkyLeads, LetStory Drive. Many of them use this concept of segments and groups. And the reason we do it is if you're posting something in Messenger again and again or on Facebook again and again, you don't want the same language over and over and over again. If, for example, you were going to send a message to 100 people in Messenger and you put a paragraph in a text file and copied it and then pasted it and sent and pasted and sent and pasted and sent and pasted and sent, eventually Facebook is going to restrict or penalize you in some way for repetitious content. Okay, that's just one of the things they do. So when we are doing something like birthdays that might have a dozen posts a day, or a broadcast in Genius Messenger, I know some users send out 400, 800, 1,000, in a broadcast. You want as much variation on that message as you can get. Okay, if you just have one, if we only had one segment and there's no variation, you're going to get restricted. But even if you had two, let's say you put your whole paragraph in and you did a second variation of that paragraph, you only have two. So if you send it to 50 people, it's going to be duplicated an average of 25 times. The interesting thing is you can get some crazy variation numbers. Let's say you have 6 sentences, a paragraph with 6 sentences, and you do a variation of 6 different possibilities for each sentence. All right? You've actually created 46,656 possible combinations. You are not going to repeat those. But even if you only had a paragraph with 4 sentences of 4 variations each, it's still 256. But look how fast this jumps. And I'll show you examples of this in a second, how best to do this, okay? But you have 4 sentences, and 4 variations of each gives you 256 possible different combinations. But if you added just one more variation to each sentence, now you have 625 possible variations. Even if you sent this to a broadcast of 300 people, the chances are none of those people are going to get the exact same message. You're going to keep yourself off of Facebook's radar, all right? If you added an extra sentence and an extra variation each, you jump up to 7,776 combinations. And then just adding one more with 6, you can see how it starts to skyrocket. Okay, so that's the math. And the purpose behind these segments and groups is to give you the most possible variations with the least amount of work. Okay, you do have to put some work setting these up. But look at, if you did something like that, and you had, almost 8,000 possible combinations, you could run that broadcast if it's repeatable, okay? Maybe you need to run it every week to 200 people. You could run that for years, and Facebook's never going to go, oh, you're sending the same message to everybody. All right, so just something to keep in mind. Now, on Genius Messenger in particular, okay, when doing segments, you must have at least 2. If you only have one segment, it won't run. There will be no broadcast sent. It just won't work. It'll go in, it'll see one, it'll look for a second variation to choose from. There's nothing there, and it'll just sit. It won't do anything. Okay, you need at least 2, but in my opinion, that's not enough. You do 2 variations of something, you got a 50-50 chance of it being duplicated. All right, so what you want is as much variation as you can in your segment. And if you have 6 sentences, you would have, segment 1, right? And I'll just copy this so we can do this a little quicker, right? Then you would have segment 2, right? Then you would have segment, and this is how you would put your group together, right? Segment 3, etc., etc., etc. Okay, let me blow this up bigger, scroll the page up so we can just keep it to this. Okay, so I think you get the idea. So let's do a sample paragraph, and I was going to do one with 6 as the example. Hi, hope all's well. I'm doing a Zoom meeting this coming Friday at 7. I'll be covering organic leads. I'd love it if you could be there. May I send you the link? So let's do one that's a little quicker for this example. Let's get rid of, I'd love it if you could be there, and we'll just do 4 Okay, 4 sentences. Hi is sentence 1. Hope all's well is sentence 2. I'm doing a Zoom meeting this coming Friday at 7. That's sentence 3. May I send you the link? Now, why might I not just put the link in this message? One, links have a much higher chance of someone reporting you for spam. There's nothing you can do about that. If you send somebody a message and they report you as spam, they've reported you as spam. You get a few of those in a short period of time, you're going to get a restriction of some type, some slap on the wrist from Facebook. So I find, for me personally, sometimes it's better just, unless they've already asked, if you're doing a Genius Posts and they've hit the keyword and they've asked for that link, then you might want to put a reminder in the beginning. Hey, thanks for requesting the link. Here it is. Okay, that would be an exception to the rule. But if you're just doing a broadcast and you want to put a link out there, sometimes it's better, may I send you the link? If they're not interested in saying yes, they're probably not going to click the link anyway. So you're not really going to lose a lot of action takers. But you'll get some conversations generated. People who respond to messages are more likely for the Facebook algorithm to show your posts to them. So you really want engagement for a lot of different reasons, not just avoiding the spam complaint, but also to any engagement you have is an advantage to your overall outreach. Okay, so let's break this paragraph down into segments. All right, so segment 1 we'll do for this first paragraph. Okay, we can easily come up with 4 variations of this, right? We'll do one segment is hi, one is hello, one is hey there. I don't know, just as an example. Okay, now you want 3 more quick ones. Hi, and I'm just going to type first name. You would use the code for that, right? But hi, first name. Hello, first name. Look, we're getting these little variations. Hey there, first name, right? Okay, so we've got 6 variations of that sentence. So we create segment 1, and it has these blocks. Block 1, block 2, block 3. So when the group comes in to choose from segment 1, before it chooses something from segment 2, it has 6 possibilities, right? So now let's look at segment 2, all right? That one was just hope all's well, right? So can we come up quickly with some variations on that? Sure we can. Hope all's well. Hope everything's well, right? I hope everything is going well, right? Of course, if I could type, it would be a little better. All right, I hope everything is going well. Oh my goodness. Okay. You could even do hope all's well in your world. Hope everything is fine. And one more, right? What do we have? 2, 4, 5. Hoping. Whoops. Don't know where that went. I don't know where this is. Oh, it's on the next page. Okay. Hoping. What do we have? Hoping all's well. Hoping all's well with you. Right? Boom. 6 variations for segment 2. Now we have, if we just had those 2 segments, right? Segment 1 and segment 2 with 6 combinations of each, we have 36 different, we've just created 36 different variations. Now let's take it 36 times 6, right? So we're going to go for segment 3. Okay? I'm doing a Zoom meeting this coming Friday at 7 p.m. I'll copy this one because I can just make some small changes, right? So that's variation 1. Variation 2 could be, just could say, let's shorten it. Doing a Zoom this Friday at 7 p.m., right? You get the idea here? I'm doing a meeting on Zoom on, and maybe you don't need this coming, right? On Friday at 7. Okay? What's that? 3 variations so far? 1, 2, 3. Oops. I'm doing a Zoom, I'm doing a meeting. Yep, that was 3 of them. So let's put, how about hopping on Zoom this coming Friday, 7 p.m. Right? You get the idea? I'm not going to go on and do any more of these, okay? I think you all get the idea. So you come up with all these great, and it only takes a few minutes. Look at this, right? Okay? So all you want to make sure you do then is go into, when you go into, we have to go to home. Let's go to message segments. So you'll create a segment, right? So just, create whatever sentence 1 is, add the block. Create whatever sentence 2 is. Oops, create another message. Whatever that one is, add the block. Create another message. Whatever the third one is, add the block. We give the segment a name and then add it. So now you've got 6 variations, right? So on here, you would, this would be block 1, this would be block 2, this would be block 3. And it only takes a few minutes, right? And now you've got 6 possible variations. Then we'll close that out. Once you've done that, let's go into our message groups, okay? So you create a group. Then what you need to do is just add your segments. So you would add, whatever the first segment is called, then insert whatever the second segment is called. I'll just pick something, then whatever the third, and you just create whatever your paragraph is, right? And then make sure you click add block, and you'll have that. Now you don't need a second group unless you're doing, all kinds of crazy different variations. You could add different segment combinations, and in which case, it'll choose which group to send, which group block. So it might choose this one. So it would choose one from your intro options, one from this segment option, and one from this segment option, and create a sentence of 3 or paragraph of 3 sentences. These might not even be full sentences. They could be clauses in a sentence. Like you could say, I'm doing a Zoom on Friday. And it could say, hopping on Zoom, doing a Zoom this Friday at 7. So it could say, doing a Zoom this Friday at 7. Or another option might be hopping on Zoom on Friday, 7 p.m. You know what I mean? You can even do phrases. You don't have to do whole paragraphs. The more you break it down, the more variation you create. But anyway, if you wanted to create a different group, you could. But I don't know that the sentence would make sense if you changed the order of it. So it's okay to just have one group. But for segments, you have to have at least 2 segments, 2 blocks. Okay, so you create a segment, add a block, create a segment, add a block. That's the minimum that you can have in a segment. But again, you're much better off. We saw the math earlier. If you can get 4, 5, 6 different combinations, all of a sudden now the number of variations you have is exponentially increased. And you've greatly reduced your chance of Facebook going, hey, you're just sending the same message to people. We're going to restrict you. All right. Hopefully that's been helpful and give it a little insight into why we do this and the power, the raw power in the number of variations that you can get from using this properly and adding additional possible combinations. If you have any questions on this, let me know. But hopefully that's been helpful.